Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. During this presentation, I will discuss the broader instructional strategies and procedures that support my wonderful student Ahmed in the classroom. Our collective goal is to support his participation on the same basis as his peers. First up, let's talk about Ahmed. As we know from Ahmed's case study from the Nationally Consistent Collection of Data on School Students with Disability, or NCCD, he is completing his final year here and is 5 years old. He is an incredibly caring and capable little boy who loves soccer, percussion, and marching with his friends around the classroom. Ahmed's learning support needs are complex and multifaceted. However, this in no way defines his character. Ahmed is different, but certainly not less, and his compassionate nature is a shining beacon in our preschool class. Ahmed's learning challenges centre around critical thinking skills, comprehension of facts, and the ability to understand emotions. This leads to difficulties in concentration, completion of tasks, and emotional regulation. Ahmed has an imputed disability and, as outlined in his strategic inclusion plan, requires supplementary adjustments to support his participation in the classroom. These include a visual prompting chart, one-on-one educator supervision in small group settings and outdoor play, an hourglass as a visual timekeeper, and extra time to complete tasks. Let's pause here for a moment to see in detail the level of adjustment descriptors and the typical adjustments that inform the educational team's practice when supporting Ahmed. As you can see from this comprehensive list from the NCCD selecting the level of adjustment guidelines, Ahmed is well represented in the preschool classroom. As further echoed in the Australian Disability Standards for Education 2005, it is our duty as a team to set Ahmed up for success in his learning now and into the future. This includes the provision of intentionally designed programs, environments, and opportunities that support Ahmed's participation in non-discriminatory ways on the same level as his peers. In line with the UDL principles outlined on the CAST website and the Early Years Learning Framework's play-based learning approach, the following information provides insight into how I support Ahmed's engagement, participation, and inclusion. I encourage Ahmed's choice and autonomy by providing an array of learning materials relating to the same subject area, also doing the same for the whole class. This is intentionally planned to inspire every child's decision-making process and critical thinking. I also adopt a play-based learning approach to foster creativity and excitement in a variety of ways, because play is for everyone. My instructions are shared in more ways than just the spoken word. Through the provision of visual supports, text-to-speech, and simplified instructions, Ahmed has more opportunities to access and comprehend information at his own pace. I also harness Ahmed's funds of knowledge, passion for sports, and love for music to create pathways into new learning. This approach draws on his inner concept of belonging in the preschool and adds familiarity and continuity to his learning. I reduce barriers, not only for Ahmed, but for all children's learning by adopting a flexible and child-centered teaching approach in alignment with the Early Years Learning Framework. This considers the physical, temporal, social, and cognitive elements of his development by allowing extra time to complete tasks and offering movement breaks for social and emotional respite. Additionally, I use scaffolding and chunking strategies during targeted one-on-one support. These are gradually eased as Ahmed becomes more confident. Marsh and others tell us that communication is among the most crucial elements of our educational practice as teachers, applying not only to our verbalised words, but also to our non-verbal communication. Relatedly, according to Van Bergen and others, and as echoed in the Early Years Learning Framework, secure relationships between children and teachers in the early years are essential for fostering positive attitudes towards learning and for laying the foundation for future positive relationships with others. With this in mind, and in consideration of Ahmed's challenges with concentration and barriers to completing tasks, my educational practice is encompassed in kindness, respect, and empathy as follows. I bend down to Ahmed's physical level, positioning myself in an easily accessible way to ensure he can see my face as I maintain a calm and positive disposition and open body language. Activities are started with simple explanations at a steady pace. For example, today we will learn how to hold our pencil. Sustained instructions are presented using the chunking method, allowing Ahmed and his peers to complete each element of the task in small, easy-to-understand steps. For example, everyone show me their pointer finger and their thumb. One-on-one support during targeted sessions allows a colleague or myself to check in regularly with Ahmed, ensuring he comprehends the instructions and is maintaining concentration. Positive feedback is my favourite way to recognise my students' efforts. This is particularly effective for Ahmed because he struggles with his emotions, and we want to continuously build his self-esteem and celebrate his accomplishments. Foreman and Arthur Kelly emphasise the importance of a school community that continuously works together to value the diversity of all people. This is extended in the Early Years Learning Framework to provide physical learning environments that support the diversity of all children in the classroom. This is achieved for Ahmed and his peers through a calm carpet strategically placed in a quiet area with books, cushions and sensory toys, a movement break soccer ball station next to the door, intentionally placed to support and enhance Ahmed's learning through the familiar. Sensory resources are easily accessible while children engage in targeted learning. These support Ahmed's concentration through multisensory input. Wobble chairs are available during circle time. Ahmed has a lot of fun with these, and they allow him to move without interrupting his learning. I also use changeover cards to support transitions. For Ahmed, this is a 5-minute warning card that alerts him to finish his play and prepare for a new activity. This provides a predictable and reliable element to his day. Collaboration and consultation in early childhood education and care are grounded in partnerships between children, families, learning and care professionals, and communities. This connection between us becomes a web of support that significantly impacts the learning outcomes for each and every child, which, according to Tancredi and others, requires a dedicated and committed approach from all stakeholders involved. This is achieved through the value of each other's perspectives, our unique knowledge and insight into the child, and joint decision-making to support the child as a whole. In Ahmed's context, he is surrounded by a dedicated team that holds his learning and development in the highest regard, which, according to Gillett Swan and others, ensures his voice is at the centre of all decision-making. Ahmed's team includes his parents, educators, and support staff here at the Bennett Family Learning Centre, his child psychologist, and also his paediatrician in the future. Ahmed and I have worked together to create a set of goals for his learning. These are simple and age-appropriate goals that are easily achievable. Some examples are: put bag and lunchbox in cubbyhole independently upon arrival, check in with me to look at visual prompting chart together, sit on floor during group time and listen quietly, work on targeted learning for 5 minutes. I recognise that families are a child's first and most significant teacher, which means Ahmed's parents are fundamental contributors to his learning and development. We communicate daily through Ahmed's learning portal, and they, along with all parents, are welcome in the classroom at any time. Ahmed's parents and psychologist were also provided with a list of his goals, so they can talk about them at home with him and work on them together. This is further aimed at connecting the learning environment with the home, so Ahmed, his parents, his psychologist, and myself are all on the same page. Ahmed meets with his psychologist once a week, and she communicates with me after the session if they have discussed the learning goals or if she believes there is additional information I need to know. Together with the teaching team, my suggestion moving forward is that educators and support staff meet every 4 weeks to discuss Ahmed's progress, enabling his strategic inclusion plan to be reviewed and modified in conjunction with all stakeholders' guidance. If any additional information or concern arises in the meantime, please contact me so I can discuss this with Ahmed's parents and psychologist. Thank you for joining me today, team. Let's work together to support the inclusion of every child, because every child deserves the right to quality education and care.